Jai Hind. So in Ayurveda, in general, we say Svastha, meaning healthy. But what is the meaning of Svastha? Swa in Sanskrit means self. Stha means established. So established in self is healthy. So what are the tools that are naturally been given to us in nature, in our physiology, that we can heal, we can do and practice for creating this disease-free body, disease-free society?
And if we talk about, so marma is the secretive knowledge, as you know from the word marma means secret, secretive knowledge. So it is whatever is secretive, it is more powerful and it has like really great healing effect on your physiology. So marma is the life force, it's the seat, marma points are the seat of prana. So even the three doshas and ojas, prana, everything is in that. So in Ayurveda we say pharmacy, kitchen is our pharmacy. So for our inner body, marmas are the inner pharmacy. So you have to treat and you have to know how to balance that and how to energize, channelize your energy after, enlivening these marma points. So you have to be very careful when you are doing the treatment with marma, and because it is secretive and also very powerful, and if you don't know how to channelize the energy, the after effect of the marma, then it gets really difficult to balance it. And also, guru to Śiṣya, from guru to the student, this tradition is followed here, because whatever like when you learn meditation, you have guru, and whenever you are stuck in some things, you get the answers from guru. So in the same way, even with marma knowledge, you have to be careful and follow the right procedures and not to, and this is very powerful tool to use it in your daily life and all that, but to get right instructions and right practice and not to overgo with whatever the instructions are given.
So marayanti iti marma, meaning that marmas, there are some special very important marma points where if there is injury, you can even acquire sudden death. Then there are marma points where if, let's say in the past it might have been arrows or weapons, but in today's time it could be sports and in general injuries or car accidents. So there are certain marmas where if you take out the metal or the instrument, then the death occurs. But then there are so many marmas that need to be protected, that need the attention. So it is designed to protect, and the knowledge of marma means how you practice for self. It is not about how do you practice on others. It is always, knowledge is self-referred. Like knowledge is structured in consciousness. So to enliven the potential of self-healing, that is why from age of 3 in our family, pulse knowledge was taught, and it has been taught, and more than 40 years, my father, us, from when we were children, we were teaching this knowledge, because pulse is like nourishing yourself. It's like knowing the self-pulse reading is how to nourish yourself, because you're able to see, able to hear what body is trying to communicate. And with the knowledge of self-pulse, you get that stage of subtlety. You understand what the body needs. And once you have that knowledge, which can be over a weekend, it's that simple to learn, especially for self, it is that easy. And then when you have the base of self-pulse reading, then you learn self-marma healing, which is self-protecting, which you are already doing, which when mother is addressing a child having any injury, any problem, all mother does is it's okay, over the head, over the back, over the injury. So it is that simple in terms of protection, because what is mother's touch is harmless. It is only to nourish, only to do healing. So that is the approach where you will be learning the self-pulse reading, followed by the marma knowledge, especially for self. Because when you start from the self, when you heal yourself, you can heal others. So if it is practitioners, also they have to start from the self. Heal yourself, then heal your patients. If it is for mothers, it is first mother should be happy, relaxed, then that turns into how the mother cares for her children, for her family. So for anyone who want to practice for self-healing, this is a wonderful technique, and it can be taught over 5 days or over a week. We have already started the teaching, and we're getting wonderful results. And because marma means it is hidden, it is Buddha. That's why the knowledge was always, there is no books written on marma or nadi. So the self-healing means also like people with chronic illnesses, people who just had surgeries, people, the unavoidable surgery, some injuries of sports or anything. So even there it becomes very subtle knowledge, where once you have this practice, you are also, whether it is your spiritual practice, whether it is your work, you are able to always have these tools with you. Feeling the pulse, all you need is your hand resting on the other hand, feeling the pulse. That's simple. Anytime, anywhere, to know the imbalance or bring back the balance. Similarly, to do self-marma, all you need is the touch of the hand, very special points. Hardly, this is sukshma marma, meaning subtle, and sukha marma, comfortable. So it is to be done comfortably seated and subtle, very subtle touch or not even touching. So it is to be, when you learn the knowledge that is hidden, it has to be well respected. There is a reason for the knowledge being hidden. So when you discover something hidden treasure or anything, why there is a protection of, whether snakes are known as kshetrapalakas, meaning protecting lands, but they end up also protecting something hidden. So reason meaning that needs to remain hidden, and you are assisting in that protection. So this self-healing technique is not to harm, to heal.
And our body has this powerful, self-healing process. Everybody goes through that. Otherwise, it is very difficult if someone is really sick and then you are just taking medicines. If you don't have that self-healing power, it gets really difficult even with any procedure or anything. To enliven this, we have self-pulse reading and of course marma treatments, and there are many more procedures like this to enliven the power of self-healing. So this is very powerful tool to enliven that power of self-healing. So when your touch becomes very powerful, so when you touch yourself, that healing process happens. That prana which is in the body, it travels from one point to another and without any blockages. That is what you're doing with this treatment.
And many times, if you noticed, for some people to heal, they cannot even allow their own family member or someone else to touch, because the healing always starts with self. So anyone that's sensitive towards their physiology, then it should start with the touch of self-pulse reading. And when that is established, you understand it's so subtle, you understand the subtlety of the body. And then the self-marma healing, where that self-touch, self-awareness of healing, how you have to admire this temple that is our physiology, and how you maintain its purity of consciousness, of every cell to cell in our body needs that attention, that aspect of healing. And many times nowadays, if you see, Ayurveda is becoming popular, which is good because Ayurveda is nature, Ayurveda is way of living life. But for therapists who are practicing Ayurveda, we have been practicing Ayurveda since we can remember, as kids and as children in our family. We are learning Ayurveda from a very young age, and whether 20 years have passed, 30 years have passed, 40 years, and we still see so much to learn. So knowledge has to be humbling. Knowledge cannot be acquired with impatience. So no need to feel I haven't learned this, I have to master this, but surrendering to knowledge, but always, especially for practitioners, what is that siddhi, of just by touch, the healing started. Oh, whatever that Vaidya, that doctor gives, then the healing happened. What they spoke came true. So all these siddhis come when you surrender to the knowledge. There is no need that, don't put a time frame. Learn, but as practitioners, very important to be established in self, Svastha. So first heal yourself, then you will see the difference in your practice. Any profession you are, any type of healing or practitioners you are, that self-healing, it always starts from there. Mahर्षि always used to emphasize that make sure you tell everyone before teaching pulse. He used to send us as children to teach in schools, and he would say, not knowing the knowledge of self-pulse reading is like a gardener forgetting to water the roots. So similarly, not knowing the knowledge, maybe with time and because it is master to student knowledge which has to be given orally, practically, and that is why we emphasize on group teaching, because when there is group consciousness, in bigger the group, the knowledge expands faster, the sharing, the enlivening. When you're learning, that's why the pulse knowledge and marma knowledge we teach in groups, we teach practically. It can't be taught online, it can't be taught over a video. There may be some basics you can learn, but majorly in order to practice physically, you have to have a partner to practice with. You have to have the right group, and that group becomes the group consciousness.
So for every knowledge to come out, Mahashiji always says, when nature hints you, and even my father was always, telling us that nature will guide you when this knowledge should come out in the world, so that people can, understand this knowledge and use in a right way how to, practice. So that's why when somebody asked Mahashiji 30-40 years back that, how about practicing Marma, then he said, it's not the right time and you should not start now. So nature will hint you and guide you when to start this. So I think now, because the right consciousness, group consciousness, people are around you who are, hinting at they are in need of this. So that's why I think this knowledge has come out, and we are teaching around with this knowledge.
As children learning Ayurveda, we would be always like wanting to learn something, master something. And what we have learned from Father, always teaching us that patience. If we would go with one question, he would give us 10 more questions. And that's how the teacher-student aspect happens of unfolding the knowledge. Because how does a master or a teacher teach? It is always student. So if the student has the commitment, if the student has that surrenderance, then the knowledge will come out. And more inquiry on Ayurveda, on the secrets of Ayurveda, is being uplifted in the collective consciousness. So the knowledge is coming out, and that is why year after year we are trying to bring this knowledge to everybody, because it is accessible. You have the hand, you have the pulse to feel, and self-healing is approachable. So every year we are bringing the knowledge of pulse, the knowledge of Marma and Ayurvedic wisdom as a bigger part of the course. So whoever want to practice Ayurveda and go deeper into the Ayurvedic practice, which has been always in the traditions of family and father to their children, or a guru and in a very remote place, now the knowledge is available, and you can access this knowledge and deepen every year by learning, with no intention, no time frame, time bonded. But as you practice, you can deepen this knowledge. In our tour in Australia, we were traveling from Melbourne to Sydney, Canberra, Gold Coast. But when we went to Byron, we could see this subtlety. And when we asked, we found out that the Aboriginals, and they would all go to Byron for healing. And there is that healing aspect. And without us knowing, we selected that land. Just recently in 2024, we finished our first Marma course with the pulse knowledge, and the results were tremendous. The experiences were so wonderful, and it was very subtle, very calming. So that's why even in the coming year, we have chosen to again do in Byron Bay a course on pulse and self-marma healing.
Through this knowledge, we wish everyone perfect health and long life.
And as we always use the definition for perfect health, samadosha, samarnishcha, समधातु मलक्रिय प्रसन्नात्मेन्द्रिया मनः स्वस्थ इत्यभिधीयते. जय गुरु.